morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Ray Niles, and you've stumbled into the 12th episode, and even dozen, of Red Barn Samplers. I'm very excited today to be able to share with you a couple of antique samplers from my collection, progress on an antique reproduction that I'm working on, the ability for you to be able to get Anne McDonald, who was she was a market release, now available on my website, as well as a couple treasures that I found and a couple tips that came as a response to questions that were sent to me. So settle in and let's get started. So the first thing I want to share with you is I mentioned a couple episodes back that Anne McDonald was a market release. Now, she's not too pretty here because this is the original from Anne McDonald. And a couple things that I loved about Anne McDonald that I'll point out is that when she said she was the she ran out of space here, and that R is actually on the very top. I also like that this is from 1788. That's an old sampler. And I'm also intrigued why whoever owned this before me cut this off right here. Maybe it didn't fit in a frame. Maybe they took it out of a frame and there were nail holes on it. I don't know. I do love that it's very coarse and that it's more like homespun. And I love the colors. And when I charted her, I charted the colors from off the back. So this is the model for Anne McDonald. And again, I love the colors. I love that Anne was quirky. I know a lot of little girls. I know a lot of women who are quirky as well. And you'll see how she did the word .er. Let's put it this way, .er. I was able to find Anne. She was what I would call a bonus baby. The family of Terrence and Betty had had one child, a boy, and 14 years later, along came Anne. And I like to think that she was the blessing that they didn't know they needed, but that they received anyway. She's what I would call a band sampler in many respects. There's about 37 rows to this, believe it or not. It's a very quick stitch. There are a couple specialty stitches in here. You've got a rice stitch down here on the bottom, and there are Algerian eyes across this band, as well as regular cross stitch throughout. So again, if you're looking for a nice, unusual vertical sampler to add to your collection, she is available off my website, as well as from your local needlework shop. Again, just a real treasure to be able to have those reproductions hanging in your home as well as mine. I also want to share with you a new release that will be available for 30 days through the shops that have chosen to do what's called auto ship. And those shops have access to my designs for 30 days before I open them to the regular public. And this little gal is Maggie Pepperell. Now, I don't know any little girl who doesn't love a red sampler, and any grown woman who doesn't love a red sampler as well. What I also like about this is her name. I love the name Maggie, and I think Pepperell is so intriguing to me. You can also see a couple things from this sampler. Number one, you can see that it was folded. There's some fold marks there. Somebody probably tucked this away in their cabinet and maybe passed it down. Maybe it was in the bottom of a cedar chest. I don't know. But this is what the model looks like. She's a beautiful little addition. You can see the difference in size here. So the model is much smaller, but I love that if you are a lover of red antique samplers, this would definitely be one that you would want to add to your collection. She's a very quick stitch. And again, until June, about the end of May, 1st of June, she'll be available to you off of your local needlework shop. Be able to check them out. Some of those are online, some of them are in person. But if you're looking for a sweet little red to add to your collection, I would encourage you to check with your local needlework shop. I will show you what that chart looks like. You'll notice I've got a lot of red dishes this way behind me. I love red transferware, and I chose to put the red transferware in the chart. You'll also notice that I have my mother's jar right here. And for those of you that have watched me for a while, you know that every chart that I put out has my mom's blue Horlick jar that I have put orts in. So this is my mom's jar. You'll also recognize, I think there's a couple of things behind me you'll recognize on this chart as well. So again, if you're looking for a very quick little red stitch, I would encourage you to take a look at this. I actually stitched this in Soie d'Alger, but it's charted for Soie 103, Gumnut, Weeks Dye Works, and DMC. I also was able to find Maggie Pepperell, and I think it's intriguing that Maggie was the 10th of 11 children born to Thomas, who was 47, and Sarah Ann, who was 37. I also love that the 1891 census has her listed as a servant, and 10 years later, the 1901 census also has her listed as living in Wales with her brother, Thomas. He's listed as working as a flour mill laborer, and Maggie is listed as a domestic housekeeper. Maggie did marry a man by the name of George Davy in 1904 in Wales, and they were married for 37 years, and there's no record that they had any children. So again, if you're looking for a cute little red to add to your collection, or maybe you're new to samplers and you're just looking to start your own sampler collection, this would be a very easy one to stitch, no specialty stitches, and very quick stitch as well. I also was asked what I was working on, and ironically enough, I am working on a reproduction sampler. A couple of you had asked a few episodes back what it was that I was working on, and I'm super excited about this because this is one that's been a labor of love, and it's also allowed me an opportunity to explore some sampler aspects that I wasn't really familiar with, and that is Solomon's Temple. So this is what I have been working on. She's huge. The original is 3 feet by 3 feet. And you'll notice I just have a little bit left. I have this set of flowers and this, and I'm done. And I'm hoping to put those finishing stitches in next week. I will be going to Amana to the Farm Girl Dry Goods, and I hope to be able to put those in while I'm there. That's kind of my goal. But a couple things to point out on this. You've got the peace doves up here. You've got the dogs down here, which I think are very realistic. You have the boy extending his hand to the girl extending her hand to the dog, and the dog extending his paw. I think that combined with the peace doves, there's a little bit of a theme going on here. I also had a woman last weekend when I was at Quilter Station. She said to me when she looked at it, she goes, "I think this is Scottish." And I said, "Why do you think that?" Because I was thinking maybe English. And she said, "I think it's Scottish because I think that's a kilt." And I was like, oh, she may be right. And then she said, "I think this is a sporn," which is like a man bag that they would wear with put tools in or whatever. It also served as protection for the family jewels. But I also am intrigued by the idea of Solomon's Temple. I'm very much aware that during this time period in 1848, that was kind of a part of the Freemasons. So maybe there's a connection there. But the original is 3 feet by 3 feet. If you have any ideas on this, let me know. She will be available to everyone probably by the middle of July. And then also for those that are ordering, I have a chart that is a little complimentary chart. If you order anything, it is the flower, and then it makes a cute little pin cushion that I've just chosen to put a little bit of velvet on the back. But it's just a thank you card for the people that are out there supporting Red Barn Samplers. And it might be something that, you know, if you want to stitch and give it to your friend, it would be an easy stitch. I also decided that based on the feedback from people around these crazy dogs, that I was going to stitch another little pin pillow of the dog. And she's not quite done yet, or he, maybe it, I don't know. But it's going to have grass below, and it will say 1848 as well. So those will all be included in the chart when that finally does come out, and it will be available through your local needlework shop as well as online. So again, if you're looking for something to add to your collection, I would encourage you to take a look at Isabella Roberts. She'll be coming out in about 6 to 8 weeks. Speaking of Quilter Station, what a fantastic weekend. What a fantastic group of women. Kudos and hats off to Rita and her team and her staff. Just an outstanding experience. I believe she's listed the dates for this fall. And if you are not familiar with Quilter Station, it's located in Kansas City. Actually, I think Lee Summit. The event is usually held at the Drury Inn, kind of not too far from the Royals baseball stadium. But if you're looking for a quality retreat, I would encourage you to take a look at the Quilter Station website, give them a call, and get yourself registered, because it is totally worth attending. Like I said, I really enjoyed it and made a lot of new friends, and then connected with friends that I'd known for a while as well. Also, this week, I received an email, a direct message from Jersey Girl Stitches, which is Teresa, and she said, I want to help you. And I said, okay, help me what? She's like, I want to help you get to that goal of 4,000. And some of you may recall that I put a challenge out there that said, when I get to 4,000 subscribers, that I would be giving away extra copies that I have of the Whitney Antiques book called Samplers and Historic Embroideries, which I love this book. It's got some amazing eye candy in it. If you are a sampler lover or love historical information about the things you stitch, this is awesome. And then I also had a second copy of this book called Stitched in Adversity. And again, fantastic resources. And I said when I got to 4,000, I would make these available as a giveaway or as a complimentary. I guess can't use the word giveaway. Anyway, Teresa said, I want to help you. She said, I will donate, when you get to 4,000, I'll donate a gift certificate for the pins that she makes. Now, some of you may not be familiar with her pins. I shared this last time, but I love a good tomato, and I have a couple of Teresa's pins in here. I believe those are her 2 pins that I received at the Sampler Symposium in January in the attic. And then she was so kind to send me these 2, which I believe are called Birds in the Meadow. Let me double check here. This one is called Birds in the Berry Patch. Sorry, Birds in the Berry Patch, and the other is the Parlor Pin. So let me show you what these look like. They are beautiful. Lots of bling, lots of shiny stuff, which I love. And she wrote me the sweetest note. And let me just read what it says here. It says, Dear Ray, hope you enjoy the pins. The Parlor Pins is inspired by Needlework Press Parlor pin cushion that we received in January. And again, it's a really sweet little stitch. I totally get why she did that. She said, and I sent the berry patch for your lovely tomato pin cushion, which she saw that I had shared last time. She said, when you have the names of 2 winners of our gift cards, just email her and she will send, with their email address, and she will send the gift card to the 2 winners. So again, if you are interested in receiving a gift card from Jersey Girl Stitches, and you may wish to, use your gift card for some of these fancy schmancy pins, or even these 2 beautiful pins here. Here's one, or this one. You may, all you have to do is write the word pin, P-I-N, and we'll get you, see if your name gets drawn. And if you do, I'll pass your information on to Teresa. And once we hit 4,000, which we are closing in, I have less than 10% and I will be there. So I'm like at 380 more names that would be subscribers, and I'll be in there. So if you're interested in helping me get to that goal, please subscribe, like, hit the bell, etc. All those good things, and we'll get you in that drawing. I also had someone that reached out to me and said, hey, I noticed that you use acid-free paper when you talk about your sampler storage. And I do. I had gotten that tip a long time ago when someone said to me, cardboard and wood all have acids in them, and that we really should be thinking about how we're putting things against how we're putting wood or cardboard against our samplers. So I hopped online and I found, and you may want to take a screenshot of this. This is our acid-free archival tissue, and I got it on Amazon. It's from the Linen Lady, and some of you know that I store my samplers in an old blueprint cabinet that are not framed. And so if they're not framed, they're laying in there, and I've got a piece of this acid-free archival tissue between each one so that they're not touching. But I don't think it was very expensive. I want to say under $30 for 75 sheets. And this lady, I'm assuming it's a lady, the Linen Lady, it comes in different sizes. So again, if you're looking for something to store some of your needlework in, you may want to check it out. So again, Linen Lady, and it's called Acid-Free Archival Tissue. I also ran across something this week that I was just like, oh, I really like that. And not that I'm a great finisher, but I do like things that make my finishing look nice, even if I'm not very good at it. And this is from Renaissance Ribbons. And each one of these are ribbons. And they're ribbons that match French General. And again, if you love red, like I love red, being able to get like just a band of ribbing to put on a bag, and you can kind of see the example of how they've used it. This one is called the French General Renaissance Ribbon Club, but I didn't sign up to do it every month. I think that's just the name of it. And it's renaissanceribbons.com. I also bought extra yardage of this one here because it's a red tape measure, and I thought that would be really cute on a bag or, you know, some type of finish. So I'll kind of hold those there so you can take a look. But each of these are different ribbons. And I think they'll look great on some of the things I'm working on. So that's something that you may be interested in or find interesting as well. I also have, I was lucky, I guess I should say. I was lucky enough to get an auction item for something that I had been looking for. The auction item I was lucky enough to win was this Boye Surehold hoop stand. It's a display for a store. And I don't have near the hoops that I know some of you do, but I love being able to share some of my hoops in a more public display in my home, down in my studio. So each one of these rows are graduated. You can kind of see the cutout there. And then your hoops just fit down on top of them. I've only seen two of these, this one and one that sold on eBay probably 4 or 5 years ago, and it went for a crazy amount price-wise. I didn't pay that for this one. I got lucky. I don't think the auctioneer knew what it was, and I don't think the people that were bidding knew what it was. So I really like this. I think it's kind of a cool way to display your hoops. And so it says Boye Surehold, and Boye is probably familiar with a lot of you because it needles, the Boye needles. And then on the back it says that as well. And then the bottom is just kind of an X. I'm sure if you're married to a handyman, they could probably make you one. Unfortunately, the guy I married 40 plus years ago is not a handyman, so I bought the antique. So again, if you're into that kind of thing, it might be something interesting to look for. I also kind of wanted to wrap up, and it's a rather short video today, so I wanted to share with you a couple more tips related to photos on your iPhone. So the tip I want to share with you today is how to use photos to quickly put your fingers on the specific photo or photos that you are searching for. So you'll notice I have my photos here. Oh, let me start over. On my home screen, I'm going to go up here to the kaleidoscope flower. I'm going to tap on photos, and you'll notice I've got all kinds of photos in here. In fact, I think I have, I'm not kidding, 19 to 20,000 photos. And so it's hard to find things sometimes. Down here in the lower right-hand corner is a magnifying glass. Tap on that magnifying glass, and you get a search menu up here. I'm going to type in the word pig, because I know I have some pig pictures in here. So P-I-G. Type in the word pig. It gives me some other options, but I just want the word pig. I hit search, and believe it or not, I get 49 pictures with a pig, including this one here, these two pigs in the mud. It works great. The other thing is, if you know where you were when you took that picture, so in this case, I'm going to type in the word Colorado. And when I type in the word Colorado, it shows me 199 photos that I took in Colorado. And then I can go to see all and be able to see every one of those photos I took in Colorado. So again, if you're looking for an easy way to get the photos that you're hunting for out of the thousands and thousands that you might have, all you have to do is type in that search word and it'll find it for you, both the noun or the place. And then if I hit cancel, I go back here, I'm on my library. You've got choices already down here that are automatic. I can sort by days, I can sort by months, or I can sort by year, but I can also go to the word albums. Now, some of these albums are pictures that you've created and put in albums if you've done that, but others are albums that are created for you. And there's an album called People and Places. And if I tap on that, it's going to give you photos of people that you've taken a lot of pictures of. And the iPhone assumes that those people mean something to you, so they put them in a folder for you. So in this case, let's say I want to search for pictures of my daughter. So it shows, if I say show more, these are all the pictures in here that the computer has identified as being my daughter. And they're right. Every picture in here in this album is my daughter. Same way if I go back from albums and I go to places. Now, it's going to give me a map of pictures that I've taken in different spots around, in this case, the world, Hawaii, down here in Japan. So what you have to do there, let's say I want to look at my pictures from Hawaii. I tap on Hawaii, and it shows me every photo I've taken in Hawaii. So when my husband and I were in Hawaii, it pulls that up. Again, it's built in, but a lot of people don't know it's there, and it makes it much easier for you to find things when you just go to the albums that are already made for you. You'll also notice on your iPhone, depending upon the version you have and the software you're running, you've also got albums down below that have assets that are in your photos, such as all the videos, right? Such as every selfie you've ever taken. So if I tap on videos, these actually are videos in my photos. If I go back, these are selfies in my videos, these are selfies in my album that I've taken with people that mean something to me. So in this case, this was one I just took at Market with Jean from the attic. So it's again, if you took a selfie with somebody, go to the selfie album. You also have what's called live photos. Now, some people may not realize that when your camera takes a picture and you have live photos on, you get, I think, 15 or 16 frames, and then you can pick which picture you want. I'll cover that in another episode because it is a cool little feature. You also have portraits. And again, portrait mode, what portrait mode does is it blurs the background. So it makes it look like you're a professional photographer. So in this case, my tomato pincushion is front and center, and then the background is blurred. That's because it's a portrait. And then you've got long exposure. I only have one of those. They're kind of fun to play with. What long exposure does is it captures running water, or in this case, I captured running water. And it makes it so that the photo takes the imagery and makes it into one photo from multiple photos with the movement. Again, pretty cool. And then you also have time-lapse, slow-mo, cinematic, bursts, which let's say you're at your grandkids' track meet and you want to watch them. You just hold that button down and it takes as many pictures as long as you hold your finger down. All of those are already built into the camera. Don't be afraid to click on those. And if you get lost, just go back to library. Library is right down here on the bottom, and it takes you to all your photos again. So there's a lot of magic inside of photos, and photos is the type of tool on our iPhone or our iPad that actually allows us to share our stitching more broadly with each other, because it allows us to do pictures in a different way. It allows us to access those quickly. Let's say you're at a retreat and somebody says, hey, remember when we were together at Hobby House? Yeah, and you pull in New York, Pittsburgh, New York, and it'll find every picture you took in Hobby House. So again, use that search menu, and again, the magnifier down here at the bottom. If you're unsure, just type it in up here. And if you go through on the people and you name the people, if I did a search under people and typed in my husband's name, it would find every picture that's got my husband's picture on it. So again, iPhone's a great little tool for every stitcher out there. And if you're not an iPhone user, mileage may vary, but I do believe there's some similar aspects that are available on the Android. As I shared before, I was kind of an Apple girl, and just want y'all to realize that those tools out there help us all become better stitchers as well. So I think that's it for today. I shared with you my work that I'm doing on Isabella Roberts. I shared with you Ann McDonald. Again, here's Ann McDonald, and Ann McDonald's available on the Ann McDonald's available on the website now, and Maggie Pepperell will be available through your local needlework shop to the end of the month, and then she will also be available on my website too. So thank you for dialing in. Thank you for Rita. Thank you to Rita for an amazing retreat last week. Again, just delightful to be at Quilter Station. Really looking forward to being with Michelle and the gang at Amana with the Farm Girl Dry Goods retreat. And just really grateful. It's been a year since I fun tired from my previous job, and I am loving this. So thank you to all of you that continue to support this crazy adventure I'm on and for supporting Red Barn Samplers. So final reminder, if you're interested in Jersey Girl stitches and her pins, then I would encourage you to write the word pin down in the comments. And if you are interested, once we hit 4,000 in the Whitney books, I would encourage you to write Whitney, W-I-T-N-E-Y, and the word Whitney. So again, thank you all, and may your floss never twist.